Sudden violence. It shatters lives, families, communities, all touched by its devastating impact. We see it in the news, we hear stories, it feels chaotic, random, senseless, but is it? What turns a seemingly ordinary person into an agent of aggression? What pushes someone past their breaking point? On Brainwave Matrix, we explore the intricacies of human behavior, diving into the science behind our actions, thoughts, and emotions. Subscribe now and join us as we journey into the heart of the human psyche. Today we confront a chilling question. What makes someone snap? What transforms everyday individuals into perpetrators of violence? The answer is complex. It involves understanding the intricate interplay of psychology, neurobiology, and environmental factors. We'll dissect the science of anger, the role of stress, and the concept of a tipping point. Get ready to explore the dark undercurrents of human behavior. This is Brainwave Matrix. Let's begin. Imagine a pressure cooker. Steam builds trapped inside. Pressure intensifies. The lid rattles on the verge of exploding. The human psyche operates similarly. We all experience stress, frustration, anger. These emotions build up over time. Our bodies react. Heart races, muscles tense, breathing becomes shallow. This is the fight or flight response, an ancient survival mechanism. In a stressful situation, it prepares us to confront the threat or flee to safety. But what happens when the stress becomes chronic? When there's no release valve for the mounting pressure, the consequences can be dire. Prolonged stress wreaks havoc on our mental and physical health. It impairs judgment, clouds reasoning, and diminishes our capacity for self-control. Under immense pressure, our ability to think rationally deteriorates. We become more susceptible to impulsive, even violent behavior. The pressure cooker within us reaches its breaking point. Deep within our brains lies the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure. Don't let its size fool you. The amygdala plays a crucial role in processing emotions, particularly fear and aggression. Think of it as our internal alarm system. When we perceive a threat, the amygdala triggers the fight or flight response. It floods our system with adrenaline and other stress hormones. Our heart pounds, our breathing quickens, our senses sharpen. This primal response helped our ancestors survive in dangerous environments. But in today's world, the amygdala doesn't always differentiate between physical threats and social or psychological stresses. A perceived insult, a stressful deadline, a financial crisis, all can activate the amygdala's alarm. When this happens repeatedly, we become stuck in a state of heightened reactivity. Our ability to regulate emotions, think clearly, and make sound judgments suffers. The amygdala's alarm, once a lifesaver, becomes a potential trigger for violence. Imagine a glass of water. You add a single drop at a time. It seems insignificant, but eventually a single drop causes the water to overflow. This is the tipping point, the point at which a system can no longer absorb any more stress. In human behavior, the tipping point represents the moment when an individual snaps. It's not just one event, but the culmination of countless stressors, both big and small. Each additional stressor pushes the individual closer to the edge. Then a seemingly minor incident, a traffic jam, a rude comment, a spilled drink, becomes the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. The tipping point is reached. The individual snaps, often with tragic consequences. Understanding the tipping point is crucial to comprehending sudden acts of violence. Nature versus nurture. It's a debate as old as time. What shapes us more, our genes or our environment? When it comes to violence, the answer is complex. Both play a role. Our genes provide the blueprint, but our environment molds the final product. Think of a child's brain as a delicate garden. The soil represents their genetics, their predisposition to certain traits. But the environment, the sunlight, the water, the care or lack thereof determines how those traits manifest. A child raised in a loving, supportive home is less likely to exhibit violent behavior, even if they possess certain genetic risk factors. Conversely, a child raised in an environment rife with violence, abuse, or neglect is more likely to develop aggressive tendencies regardless of their genetic makeup. The environment acts as a multiplier, amplifying or mitigating innate tendencies. Understanding this interplay is crucial to understanding the roots of violence. We are social creatures. We learn by observing, imitating, and interacting with others. Our social environment, our family, friends, community exerts a powerful influence on our behavior. If a child grows up surrounded by violence, it becomes normalized. They witness it firsthand. They hear it condoned, even glorified. Violence becomes an acceptable means of resolving conflict, of expressing power, of navigating the world. This is particularly true in communities plagued by poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity. When violence becomes endemic, it creates a vicious cycle. Children who witness violence are more likely to become both victims and perpetrators of violence themselves. They internalize the aggression, the hostility, the sense of hopelessness that permeates their environment. Breaking this cycle requires addressing the underlying social and economic factors that contribute to violence. Section 3. Situational triggers, the spark in the tinderbox. Imagine a tinderbox filled with dry leaves and twigs. The potential for fire is there, but it takes a spark to ignite it. The same is true for violence. Certain situations can act as triggers, igniting the fuse in individuals already predisposed to aggression. These triggers vary from person to person, but some common ones include substance abuse, alcohol and drugs lower inhibitions, impair judgment, and increase impulsivity. Social rejection, feeling ostracized, bullied, or excluded can trigger feelings of anger, humiliation, and a desire for revenge. Loss of control. Experiencing a sudden loss of control over one's life, job, relationship can lead to feelings of helplessness, desperation, and rage. Understanding these triggers is essential for prevention. By identifying individuals at risk and providing them with support, we can help them develop coping mechanisms and avoid situations that might push them over the edge. Section 1. Road rage, a collision of stress and ego, the morning commute, traffic crawls, you're late for work. Suddenly a car cuts you off, your blood pressure spikes, adrenaline surges, you lay on the horn, gesture angrily. Road rage, we've all experienced it. It's a toxic mix of stress, anonymity, and ego. The confined space of a car becomes a pressure cooker. We dehumanize other drivers. Our sense of anonymity emboldens us. We act out in ways we never would face to face. The consequences can be deadly. A moment of anger, a lapse in judgment can lead to accidents, injuries, even fatalities. Road rage is a stark reminder of how easily the veneer of civilization can slip away, exposing the raw, primal instincts lurking beneath the surface. Section 2. Workplace violence, pressure, resentment, and despair. The workplace, a pressure cooker of deadlines, expectations, and office politics. For some, the stress becomes unbearable. Resentment festers. Hopelessness sets in. Workplace violence is a tragic reality, often preceded by warning signs. Disgruntled employees, threats of violence, changes in behavior. These are red flags that should never be ignored. The motives behind workplace violence are complex and varied, but common threads emerge: feelings of injustice, perceived mistreatment, a desperate sense of having nothing left to lose. Preventing workplace violence requires a multifaceted approach, creating a culture of respect and open communication, providing resources for employees struggling with stress or mental health issues, and taking threats seriously and intervening early. Section 3. School shootings, alienation, bullying, and copycat violence. School, a place of learning, growth, and social connection. But for some, it becomes a breeding ground for alienation, bullying, and despair. School shootings are a horrific reminder of the dark side of human behavior, leaving scars on individuals, families, and communities. The perpetrators of these acts are often young people themselves, consumed by anger, isolation, and a desire for revenge. They may have been victims of bullying, struggling with mental health issues, or exposed to violence in their homes or communities. The copycat effect is a disturbing phenomenon, with media coverage of school shootings potentially inspiring further acts of violence. Addressing this complex issue requires a comprehensive approach, combating bullying, providing mental health support, identifying and intervening with at-risk individuals, and promoting responsible media coverage. Section 4. Domestic violence, power, control, and a cycle of abuse. The home, a sanctuary of love, support, and security. But for victims of domestic violence, it becomes a prison of fear, control, and abuse. Domestic violence knows no boundaries, crossing all socioeconomic, racial, and cultural lines. It's about power and control, one individual seeking to dominate and subjugate another. The cycle of abuse can be relentless, escalating from verbal abuse to physical violence, often leaving victims feeling trapped and helpless. Breaking this cycle requires a multifaceted approach, supporting victims, holding abusers accountable, and working to change societal norms that condone or enable domestic violence. Education, awareness, and access to resources are crucial to breaking the cycle of abuse and creating a safer world for all. Section 1. The numbers tell a story. Statistics can feel cold, impersonal, but behind every number is a human story, a life touched by violence. Let's look at the data on sudden violence. In the US alone, homicide claims over 24,000 lives each year. Globally, that number skyrockets to almost 500,000. These figures represent not just individual tragedies, but a societal crisis. They underscore the urgent need for understanding, prevention, and intervention. While predicting sudden violence with absolute certainty is impossible, research has identified patterns and risk factors that can help us understand the problem more deeply. These insights are crucial for developing effective prevention strategies and creating a safer world. Section 2. Predicting the unpredictable. Risk factors and warning signs. While predicting sudden violence with absolute certainty is impossible, certain risk factors increase the likelihood of such behavior. These risk factors are not excuses, but indicators that can help us identify individuals who might be on a dangerous path. Some common risk factors include a history of violence, substance abuse, mental health issues, exposure to violence in childhood, and social isolation. Recognizing these risk factors is the first step towards prevention. Early intervention, counseling, and access to support systems can make a world of difference. Additionally, being aware of warning signs is crucial. These might include increased aggression, threats of violence, withdrawal from social contact, and fascination with weapons. If you notice these warning signs in someone you know, don't ignore them. Reach out for help. Your concern could save lives. Section 3. Beyond the statistics, the human cost. Statistics can feel overwhelming, numbing us to the individual stories they represent. But behind every act of sudden violence are real people. Victims, perpetrators, families, communities, all forever marked by the tragedy. Imagine the ripple effect, the shock, the grief, the anger, the fear, the shattered families left to pick up the pieces, the communities grappling with trauma and loss, the first responders, the medical professionals, the law enforcement officers, all bearing witness to the devastating consequences of violence. Understanding the human cost of sudden violence is essential. It's a call to action, a reminder that we must do everything in our power to prevent these tragedies, to support those affected, and to create a world where violence is not the answer. Prevention. It's not about predicting the future, but about recognizing the present. Sudden violence rarely erupts without warning. The signs are often there: subtle shifts in behavior, disturbing patterns, cries for help masked as anger or withdrawal. Learning to recognize these warning signs is crucial. Has someone close to you become increasingly irritable, prone to angry outbursts over minor incidents? Have they withdrawn from social circles, isolating themselves from friends and family? Do they express feelings of hopelessness, trapped in a cycle they can't escape? These are red flags. Don't dismiss them as just a phase, or they'll get over it. Early intervention is key. Encourage them to seek professional help. Offer your support, a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes simply knowing someone cares can make all the difference. Intervention takes many forms. For individuals struggling with anger management, therapy can provide coping mechanisms and strategies for managing emotions. Support groups offer a safe space to share experiences, learn from others, and break down the isolating wall of silence. For those facing difficult life circumstances, unemployment, family problems, mental health challenges, community resources can provide a lifeline. Job training programs, financial counseling, substance abuse treatment centers, these resources exist to help people navigate challenging times and find a path forward. Addressing societal issues that contribute to violence is equally crucial. Promoting mental health awareness, combating poverty and inequality, creating safe and inclusive communities. These are long-term solutions that require collective effort. Violence is not inevitable, it's a learned behavior influenced by a complex interplay of individual, social and environmental factors. By understanding these factors, recognizing the warning signs and intervening early, we can break the cycle of violence and create a safer, more compassionate world. We've journeyed into the heart of a complex issue, sudden violence. We've explored the psychological factors, the environmental triggers, the warning signs. We've confronted uncomfortable truths about human nature. But knowledge is power. Understanding the science behind sudden violence is the first step towards prevention. Remember the pressure cooker analogy? We all experience stress. We all have our breaking points. But by recognizing the warning signs in ourselves and others, we can take steps to release the pressure. to seek help, to intervene before it's too late. Let's choose awareness over apathy, compassion over judgment. Let's work together to create a world where violence is not the answer, but a problem we actively address. The echoes of understanding can reverberate far beyond this video, sparking conversations, inspiring action, and ultimately saving lives. This is Brainwave Matrix, where we delve into the fascinating world of human behavior, exploring the science behind our thoughts, actions, and motivations. If you found this exploration insightful, hit that subscribe button and join our community of knowledge seekers. We have a lot more to uncover, more mysteries to unravel, more insights to share. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Remember, the journey into the human mind is an ongoing exploration. Stay curious, stay informed, and let's continue to explore the complexities of human behavior together. #violence prevention, #mental health awareness, #community, support, #break the cycle, #knowledge, inspire, #brain insights, #human behavior.